We're here at the tail end of September, and while we've got all of the roof sheeted and eaves done and all that stuff, we are now in a position where have to make some decisions on what to do here. I certainly know I can do this roof myself, but I don't have the time. We're within a few weeks of weather really starting to transmit and come in. Usually get snow somewhere around Halloween. We had a good storm the last 2 days, and we already have snow up on the mountains, which is a telltale sign that winter is coming. What happens is you start watching the snowstorms bring the snow down the mountain, and eventually it gets here. So one of the decisions we had to make was whether I was going to roof this house myself or have somebody else do it. And while that was a really tough decision and one I hate to give up, especially since this is my project, it's time to utilize contractors for a second time to put the actual asphalt route onto the house. I'm going to be doing all of the ice and water shield, underlayment, and the drip edges. I'll get all that prep work done so that when the roofing crew does come in here, probably in the next couple weeks, they can just go up there and lay down shingles and get it done in a couple of days, where it would take me a good week or so to do it, because it takes a little bit more time with the valleys here on getting shingles in. Like I said, while I know I can do it, it's a matter of time constraint, and so you got to look at where you can utilize your energy and your money to make the best outcome that you can. But still have a lot to do. We still got to house wrap this thing, still have to put on all the roof underlayment in order to get it dried in and ready to go. So that's what we'll get started on, is starting to dry this thing in and get the roof underlayment in. We certainly have a lot of different things happening around the property. We've got OSB still has to be done. We've got to finish the house wrap and a bunch of other blocking and bracing items that have to take place. However, I need to shift priority to getting all of the roof underlayment and ice and water shield up onto the roof decking. We had a storm a couple of days ago, and it just managed to flood the entire inside of the house with water. So there's plenty of stuff up there. I need to waterproof that and get it ready for the roofers that are coming in the next week or two. So that way we get that done. Anyway, that's my priority for this week, and we will get started at it and see what we can get completed. In all honesty, I'm not too pleased or keen on getting up there. This is a 4/12 pitch, or sorry, 8/12 pitch, and the main roof is a 6/12 pitch. So fairly steep. The peaks for sure are, and so getting up there makes me a little bit nervous, which is really unusual. I'm pretty comfortable with heights, but for some reason that sketches me out. But we'll get up there and get started with getting all the roof underlayment in. Well, it's only about 60 degrees out here right now, and so I'm going to lay this stuff out and set it up there and let the sun hit it for a while and see if it'll increase the stickiness of it, so that way when I pull all the backing off, it'll all start sticking a little bit better. Right now there's not a lot of stick to it, so we'll just let it heat up in the sun, and we'll do our layout and wait until it's ready to go. In my 20s and 30s, I did a lot of rock climbing and mountaineering and different things like that, and I've never had a problem with heights whatsoever. but there is something about being up on that pitch or that roof that is really kind of honestly weirded me out. And so I think the smart thing to do, I was going to try and brave it and not use go get a safety harness, but I think that is not the right idea here. I think I need to go get myself a safety harness and clip in. I have a lot of work on that roof, and there's something about slipping off of here. I figure an ounce of prevention of buying a safety harness is certainly less expensive than an emergency room visit or by sliding off this roof. So we'll head to Ronan and go get ourselves a safety harness, and then we'll continue on with the build. All right, so I went ahead and I got this Fall Tech kit. It's got everything that I need for the roof attachment, the harness, the rope, all of that stuff. That will give me a lot more safety up on that steep pitches and stuff, and certainly make me feel more comfortable. So we'll dig into this and go ahead and get this set up so we can continue working. All right, got the harness, the roof assembly, and the rope. All right, well, I wasn't going to embarrass myself with trying to put that thing on camera. It was a little bit different, and it certainly was uncoordinated on my end. But got the harness on. We'll go ahead and equip the rest of it and get back on the roof. If I'm being honest, having the harness brought a sense of security because I was tied to the roof. However, the steep pitches and working with the materials on these angles, even with the harness, still made me uneasy. And then having to monkey with the rope, moving it up and down, and stepping over it, also made me a little bit uncomfortable. It's funny, because I was up here doing the roof sheeting, you'd think that these pitches and all this wouldn't be that anxiety causing. However, for some reason, this just caused me a great deal of problem when trying to do this, especially towards the edges. Regardless, with the harness on, it was time to finish off all of the underlayment. The hardest part is to keep it in place while you're removing the backing and trying to stick it down. This is where having the harness did help me quite a bit, and I'm pretty happy that I had it on. It's certainly a little awkward working with the rope and pulling it back and forth, but it is feels a lot safer to be up there with it and have it attached. So it gives me a whole high level of comfort knowing that I've got this thing on. So we'll just continue on and keep going with the ice and water shield and see if we can get this done today. Well, I'm moving slow, which is okay. I'd rather be safe than sorry. But I've got half the house done. I will move to the front and get the other half of this thing done with ice and water shield. That's part of the process. I got ice and water shield, and then I've got the actual underlayment to put down. So we're getting closer and closer. All of the ice and water shield is now up on the house, which is good because working on those edges of the house like that is a little sketchy for me, but we got it done. And that's one step towards it. So next step, we're going to start putting up all the actual synthetic underlayment on this house and get that going. We've got today and tomorrow to get this done. Supposedly Thursday it's supposed to rain, and then Friday the roofing guys are supposed to be here to start working on the roof. So we've got a lot to do in a very short window, and we'll get at it and continue on. that is about as far as I got. I gotta say, I am at a point where I cannot do this by myself. That roll is just too heavy and that pitch is too steep. So it's really, really cumbersome and dangerous. Even with the rope, I feel unsteady up there. And like you said, that's an 812 pitch. And so I think I'm going to talk to the contractor, roofing contractor, and see if he can just change his quote and get that done. It really, I don't know. I feel defeated by it all. I thought I could get that done, and I can't. And that really sucks. But I know when to call it quits and be safe about things. So I'll give them a call and see if they can do it. Well, I know when I'm licked. And so I went ahead and I made my call to the roofing contractor. They're going to be out here tomorrow because they've got a delivery, and the delivery company's going to put the shingles up on the roof. So we're coming out to unload anyway. So since they have a couple extra guys to get that done and make it safer, they're going to go ahead and accomplish that tomorrow. And then on Friday, after the rains on Thursday, they'll get busy on the roofing. So with that, we'll just get on to other projects until then, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with the rest of the underlayment and prepping for the roof. It's certainly disappointing. I would like to have said I done this myself, but I also know that it's better to be disappointed than disabled, and I don't really want to fall off the roof. So it was a smart choice. Disappointing, but still a smart choice, and we'll get it done. To say I'm impressed is an understatement. I mean, these two guys managed to get the underlayment down in about an hour and 40 minutes on the entire house. So it was certainly worth the call to have those guys do it. I'm just, again, 20-year-olds with no fear. They were up there without a harness and getting it done, and they managed to impress and get it done. The other part is that I'm really kind of stoked with is that most construction guys, as you can see, I still have all this mess to clean up from my construction help with the trusses and the roof, and the roofer guys cleaned up all of their mess and took it with them, so that saves me from hauling it off, which is a big deal. I was really kind of impressed with with that. The other part is that they said they were going to be here at 8, and by 8 o'clock they were on the roof and getting started. So that was pretty impressive. But this is a big project that's done. Later on this afternoon, they're supposed to be delivering shingles, and we'll get those stacked up on the roof and prepped for this coming Friday, when they're supposed to do all of the asphalt shingles on this roof. So we're getting along. We're getting closer to dry in. We still got some projects to go, so we'll just keep at it and keep plugging away.